Hi. So there could be a lot of reasons why you aren't getting your first freelancing client. And I'll be going through a lot of them. Maybe you can find the potential reason why you aren't getting clients. And maybe after finding out why you aren't getting clients, you can try improving on that particular aspect and maybe get your first client. This video is brought to you by ClassPort. Now, in today's day and age of online courses, you have so many options. You have tons of Udemy courses, tons of Coursera courses, and there's just so much of oversaturation of these courses. It's very hard to find out which is the course that you actually need, right? And ClassPort is there to solve that problem. ClassPort is an aggregator of online courses. It has over 280,000 courses from different sites like Udemy, Coursera, Pluralsight. ClassPort will compare all of these courses on the internet and give you the best recommendation. So, it'll scan Hacker News, it'll scan Stack Overflow and see which technology has a more demand and accordingly suggest you and recommend you some courses. So before you go to Udemy and Coursera and directly buy the course, go to Class Expert, compare different courses, see which one has a better price, see which one has better instructors and better reviews. So you'll get a entire glimpse of the internet and then make your decision to buy the course. You can find the link in the description. Go check out and compare your favorite courses. The number one thing that I think prevents people from getting clients is not having the right skill set. Ask yourself, do you have a skill that actually the industry needs? Do you have a skill which is employable? Do you have a skill that you can even charge for? I'm not saying be an expert, you can be an amateur, it's totally fine, but do not start looking out for clients if you're just a noob. The second reason could be unprofessionalism, right? A lot of you are students and I know it's very difficult for people, especially startup founders or company executives to trust students. Be professional, right? Learn how to communicate well with executives, learn how to write good emails, learn how to talk on the phone, maybe practice English. And if you want to practice English well, then do check out our Discord server. Every single day at 5 p.m. people come in and practice English. So if you want to improve your communication skills, just join our Discord, link in the description down below. Go on YouTube and there's a channel called Stanford Graduate School of Business. And they have tons and tons of workshops happening about how to be professional. Start watching some of them so that you get a brief idea about how exactly are you supposed to treat clients, how exactly are you supposed to be professional. And another way of gaining professionalism is through industry exposure, right? Try doing some internships, try working at a startup, try working at a company for a while, and that way you'll be able to get a lot of more insights about how B2B sales happens, how you expect to approach your client, what exactly should you give them, what are the different contracts you should be signing, and it'll be an experience that will be pretty worthwhile. The third reason could be targeting the wrong people. Now, I've told this in the previous video that if you're targeting people who just cannot afford your service or people who just don't care about your service, then that's not the right people to target. For example, a lot of small Indian businessmen just cannot afford a lot of freelancing services. For example, if you tell them that you'll be designing a logo for 10,000 rupees, the very first question that they'll be asking is, why should I pay 10,000 rupees for just some ink on a piece of paper? And they have their own justification, so do not target the wrong people. Target people who would actually value your work and people who have capital to pay you. And I think targeting those kind of people will put you in a much better position and give you more leverage on the skills that you have. A lot of funded startups in India spend a lot on freelancing, so you can contact them. A lot of huge companies also spend on hiring gig workers. Target them. European clients, US small businesses, all of them are pretty cool because the dollar to INR ratio is quite high. So try, just ask yourself if you're targeting the right kind of people and if these are the kind of people you want to work with in the future as well. Make sure they can afford your service and make sure that they respect you. And ask if freelancing is something for you. Freelancing sounds very fancy, especially for college students because they want to earn a quick buck. But then again, it's a B2B game in most cases. And B2B stands for business to business. You have to sell to other businesses. And that's a very difficult nut to crack. Very few startups, in fact, actually crack the B2B nut. So ask yourself, do you actually want to freelance? Or maybe you can just earn a lot more by preparing for your placements and then getting a good job. Or maybe you can just do an internship instead, which would pay you higher. Or maybe you can do a startup in the field of B2C. Or maybe you can just become a trainer or some, person who teaches sports. Or you can do so many other things to earn money. Ask yourself if freelancing is the only way through which you can earn. Maybe you can take tuitions for students. you never know, right? There are so many ways of earning money. So ask yourself, is freelancing the only way? I know YouTube is filled with a lot of videos about freelancing, but then it's not meant for everyone, right? As most professions are. Another reason why people don't get clients is because they don't have a network in the first place. And this is a very critical aspect, right? Having a network is super important. For example, if you're in the graphic design space, it's great that you know graphic designing, but do you have a network? For example, do you know companies that might require your service? Do you have people who might know people who might require your service? So building this network is pretty important, and I think this is one of the major reasons why people don't get clients. It's because they don't have a well-knit network. So I would say start talking to people, start attending conferences, start attending networking events. There's Townscript, Eventbrite, f6s.com, hackathons happening everywhere. Attend these events so that you get some industry exposure. Do some internships, even that will give you some exposure to different sorts of companies. If you do a sales internship, then you'll get contacts of a lot of companies and you'll actually learn how to sell to these businesses, right? So it's a very tough nut to crack, especially if you're a college student with zero credibility. But don't worry, it's all part of the process. So don't give up, keep trying, or maybe you can just do some internship or start preparing for placements. There are just tons of options out there. So try your hands at everything. It's college, you're very young, you don't have any responsibilities towards anyone. One more reason why it might be tough for you to crack that particular freelancing client is because the sector itself might be a bad sector. For example, we were in the chatbot sector, I freelanced in chatbot, and though we made some money, it was very hard to find clients, let me be honest, because the market itself for chatbot was so small that identifying clients and finding clients easily was very hard. We had to make tons of cold calls, we had to send lots of emails, and it was a pain. So think about it. Is there a market for the service that you're offering, right? And then maybe you can move forward. For example, thumbnails of YouTube, that's a huge market. A lot of YouTubers want thumbnails. So target something very specific in some particular niche, and you'll get to it. As long as you don't have any strong financial need to just do one thing, just try exploring as many things as possible, because that's the best way of finding out what your calling is. And that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, then do give it a thumbs up. Do join our community. It's one of India's most creative and smartest community out there. And subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.